Okay, hello, good morning. A little bit late today as well. We're having slow mornings. Like there's a new family member arriving in like 2 weeks, having a baby. So yeah, we're taking it really slow just to take in the relatively quietness of having only one child. And then we'll see what happens after 2 weeks or like 3 weeks. Anyways, let's not talk about that. This is my time to not think about all the responsibilities outside of work. Let's try to scope our responsibility to this fucking slider. Let's see. Okay, so we got this stuff working after messing around with CSS for 30 minutes. And now we basically just want to populate it. So let's see. By the way, let's try to commit something here. There is something going on with the commits, and I'm not sure what's happening. So we have added a few components, and we changed a bunch of stuff. I don't see any. Yeah, let's just try to commit this. Added slider. Let's see what happens. Oh, I forgot to bring up the network tab. Oh, but now it worked. So yeah, because we did have this commit where some of the changes wasn't part of the commit for some reason. And I tried to reproduce it, but I wasn't able to. Anyways, let's see. What we want to do now is take a look at our current week. And now we want a slide for each weekday. Which is why we moved our default weekday mapping and weekday names to a constant, so we could reuse that. So let's just try to use those first. We want default weekday. Like we don't have any custom weekday mapping yet, so I'm just going to use the constant directly. And the weekday mapping is weekday index. I think we can just use that as the key. Weekday index. So weekday 1. Oh. Let's see. Yeah, maybe we can even use the weekday names here. Weekday 2, weekday 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 0, which is Sunday, which I want to be the last day. Great, that's working. And then let's use weekday names. And this should now be, if we do this instead. Yes, Monday. Yeah, this kind of breaks with the hot reloading for some reason. Tuesday. Yeah, we don't even need weekday here now. Okay, so we have the weekday. And now we need to like choose the current slide. So we need to make this, let's see, initial slide index. Let's be very explicit about this. And now we need to go and grab the current weekday. And I guess we can just use can I use new date get day? Gets the day of the week using local time. Yeah, I think that's perfectly okay. So initial slide index would then be, we have slider, that's a number, initial slide index. And yeah, and then we just use that here. Nice. That's nice. That's like, it all seems to fit together. That's cool. Okay, so which day is it today? Tuesday? It's Wednesday. Which day did it pass? Oh wait, yeah, we have to we have to use our default weekday mapping to grab the actual index. So we get, is this right? No, this is we use index of, yeah, sorry, not this, but index of day. So we want the index, right? Like at what, like in a row, or like what's my week looking at, looks like, and then we're using, okay, what's the current day index, and we try to find that in our mapping, which gives us the index of the slide. I'm pretty sure. Maybe we can put this into yeah, Tuesday. Nice. Let's see. So we initial slide index, blah blah blah. Cool. Now we're showing today. That's nice. And yeah, we should find like a font for this. And then we have, yeah, we have Google Fonts. Sarah, one of my colleagues, implemented this. This is pretty awesome. So we just need to, oh, there's a ton of fonts here. Let's see. Let's find a good font, Google Fonts. And I learned from a designer that like a font should be, it shouldn't like be like good, like necessarily look perfect, like look nice. It should be like the voice of the application. So what's the voice of our week planner? Well, it's structure, collaboration, less stress, like alignment. So alignment, that kind of reflects monospacing, right? Or what's it called? Is it called monospace when you have the same size of each character? Okay, so that's kind of the voice of this app. Is like it's structured, it's like alignment. So all the characters should be the same, like have the same size. Is that like a cat? Yeah, it's called, yeah, monospace. Let's find, what the hell is this? Oh, there we go. Sorry, I thought it closed it every time I clicked it. Okay, but it shouldn't be like too rough or like too computerish, because it's about like people collaborating. Nova Mono. I don't know. Maybe that's, well, it's the roundest one. Courier Prime. That's pretty nice. Maybe, oh, this was a nice one. Qt Mono. Yeah, let's try that. Qt Mono. Do we have that? Wow, there's a lot of them. Qt Mono. Let's try that. Add font. I have no idea how this actually works. Can I just use it now? Public. Font family. Let's see if anything happens here. Qt Mono. I don't think anything happened. Should I refresh? Yeah, it worked. Cool. That's pretty cool. I never, like, I remember I remember the release of this, but I never actually used it myself. But this is nice. It already looks a little bit better. Yeah, it seemed, yeah, that's, I guess that's not the, yeah, We could have used Roboto as well. Yeah, because that has like, oh, yeah, maybe we should use Roboto. Because that's also pretty, and then we have like medium, bold for the headers and stuff. Okay, let's get boring and use Roboto. Because that's also a monospace, right? Oh, pairings. Oh, so we can have both of them. Okay, let's try that. Roboto. Like, I know it's not good to have too many fonts, but Roboto. And let's add H5 and H6 there as well. Okay, anyways, let's not spend too much time on that. So if we were to make this like H4, we should have, yeah, a bolder one. Cool. Anyways, I think we should make it even. Okay. Oh, Roboto Mono. Yeah, but anyways, like as I understand, like headers can be like non-mono, or what they call it, courier. No, sans serif, and then you have like monospaced for the text. Yeah. Anyways, we'll do that for now. Weekday name or weekday title. Let's use where did we have our styled thingy from CSS? Styled H4, or we can make it even bigger. H3. Let's see, weekday title. Oh, come on. Tuesday. Wow, this can be way bigger. Okay, that's nice. Tuesday. Yeah, Roboto seems to be like a popular one. Anyways, Tuesday. We have like font weight, and then you have like, what's it called? Like 300 and stuff, or 600. Does it change? 900. Roboto bold. Yeah, you have like black. Is that font weight? Black? Can I say like black? Black? No, I can only say bold. Anyways, let's do like, does anything happen there? Yeah, you see it changes a little bit. Anyways, yeah, no, this looks good. It doesn't matter. Tuesday. And what we need to display now are whatever we're doing today. So are we doing anything today? No. So let's activate something. Hey there. So we're doing hey there today. Let's do more today. Add something. Okay. So what we need to do now is make a list of this stuff. And the way this is going to look like is it's going to show the avatar. And oh, black is font weight 900. Okay, let's do that just for, yeah, we don't really see any difference, but yeah, nice to know, Etienne. Font weight 900 is black. How do you know this stuff? I thought you were like more of a low-level programmer. You know all the things. If you are you the same Etienne as, like I have this Etienne guy who does the TypeScript stuff? Or are you a different Etienne maybe? Anyways, I'm impressed by your knowledge. Let's see. Okay, weekday title. And then we're going to list by profiles. So we're going to show all the profiles here, what everyone's going to do this week, or this day, weekday, not only you. So we need Oh, 900 should be much bolder. Yeah, I'm not actually sure how this works. Same at the end. Oh, damn it. I'm here complaining about knowing everything of the front-end stack is impossible, and here you are proving me wrong, knowing deep level TypeScript stuff and deep level, well, maybe this isn't deep level, like font weights, but for me it's deep level. Anyways, let's not talk about these fonts anymore. I'm tired of fonts. Let's talk about how to list the profiles and what they're supposed to do this current weekday. So we need access to Overmind here for sure. I totally forgot how are we using, no, we're using use app state. Yeah, I think this is a better way to do it. Like we used to have this use Overmind hook. It's not bad, but it's sometimes you only need access to actions, while the Overmind hook always initializes tracking. And then you kind of get the state directly here. So you can say like, you can point directly to some state or namespace, which is super nice. Anyways, I guess we can immediately just check, because we do need access to more data. Like we need access to the authenticated data. So if we're not authenticated, we might as well just return null. And again, we talked about this. And this component currently only renders when we're actually authenticated, but we might move this component somewhere else where it would start breaking, because we access data for authenticated and we're not authenticated. This is kind of the general thing with programming. It's like you define things in isolation, but it fits in. Like a component tree is a really good example of that. You define a component in isolation, but then you put it inside a component tree, which puts it in a context. And you know the context of where this component is running. So you can make assumptions about what this component can do. But the component itself in isolation can't make these assumptions. And that's kind of the rift of you as a programmer and the code. And sometimes that can get really confusing and you feel like you're writing boilerplate, but it's from the perspective of the running code, or like the way, like this out of context definition, it makes total sense. But yeah, anyways, I'm rambling. And I believe, do we always have, no, we should actually explicitly, oh, sorry, if not authenticated, now we should have access to more state, right? Yeah. So now we have profiles, we have the app. So what we need to do, we need to grab the UIDs, profile UIDs, which is the keys of the state profiles. We need those. And then based on those profile UIDs, we're going to iterate them. And we're going to grab whatever tasks you have for the specific day. So we have the weekday index here. We have the weekday title, which means we can go in here. Let's just create a div for now, and we can style this later. And what we need to do is iterate the profile UIDs, profile UID, and then let's just return a div here. Let's do it like this. And then let's use that as a key. Cool. And what we need to grab here is, well, first of all, we can create, well, we actually, yeah, first we need to grab whatever tasks we have. Oh, this is interesting. No, wait. I don't think we should do it here because we don't want to show the profile UID if it doesn't have any tasks today or to-dos or whatever you want to call them, items. So we basically want to create this. Maybe we should make this a derived instead. Yeah, let's do that because this shows that we're creating a lot of complexity inside the component, complexity that we don't really want. Like this component wants an array of items where we have which profile UID and which backlog item title is it. Like that's all we want really. Well, not an an array, yeah, for the weekdays. Anyways, so I think we should try to create a derived here instead, because then our component will just care about rendering that data, not actually creating that data structure, which is what I find to be the most beneficial way to separate like components and state. As soon as I start like reducing and mapping over, like transforming values in a component, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. It shouldn't be the responsibility of the component. The component should have like the perfect data structure to most efficiently render out that data structure. So what we can do instead is, the question is, where does this belong? I guess this belongs in the app. So we want, and this can actually be a base state. So we have our backlog list, but we can do a backlog by let's see, current weekdays. Let's call it current. Oh, what the hell should we call this? It's the current weekdays by profile. What items should that profile do? Current week items by profile. Current week items by profile. That's what it is. And it should return profile UID, which is a string, and then an array of backlog items. I think. Yeah, we can return the backlog item itself because we need to check, like, is it a date or is it like, yeah, like it might be an event where events are items with a date. That's the point. Okay, so let's try to create this derived then. So derived, the state here is app machine. Let's just return this for now. Kind of annoying that it keeps updating when I save, but it's kind of what I want. So yeah, actually we've been talking about revamping the like reviewing how hot reloading, or like, oh shit, how the preview updates related to code changes. So for example, what we're able to do in Codesandbox is, like, we know if you're working in a component file. We can check if, for example, React is an import. We can just check the file extension, and then we can have a different, we can tell the preview to do, for example, hot reloading. While when you're in a normal TypeScript file, it will do a full refresh or nothing, for example. So I really want to, yeah, talking about this, I want to create like an experiment so that you can go into like preferences, experiments, and then you can go in here and you can kind of choose, you can activate different things. So you can like activate hot reload on TSX files or component files, which are like .view, .tsx, JSX, and so on. and like activate different experiments to kind of give you like more of a custom thing. So I don't decide for you, but I give you kind of the tools to customize it. Because yeah, like it's so silly because it's so at the core of Codesandbox, and sometimes services and applications feels like super good to use, but you don't really know why it's so good. And I think this would be like a key to create that kind of experience where you basically it just feels really good, because every time you save your code, the preview does exactly what you want it to. But you don't even think about it. It just happens and it kind of does exactly what you want. Anyways, hopefully we'll find time to do that. What we're doing here, we wanted to create this thing. Days. I'm just going through the state here because we have the profiles. And then we have days by backlog item. Yes, so here we have like backlog item ID, we have the profile, and then we have string array. Shouldn't that be a number? Why is this a string array? Oh, sorry. Yeah, because we have the, it's the key in the database. So this isn't exactly what we want. Well, it kind of is, but it doesn't give us the index of the day. But we can find that based on the key. I just wonder how we're going to grab them. Days by backlog item. Oh, where are we actually using this? Oh, it's days. Oh yeah, it's yeah. It seems it holds all the information we want. It holds the backlog item ID. It holds the UID. So basically, what we want to do is just restructure this. We want to go through all the backlog items and kind of flip it around so that we have on this string ID, which represents the day, what profile UIDs do we have, and then it should give an array of backlog item IDs. So basically just flip this around. That's what we want. The problem though is that this string ID for the day is like, it's the year, the month, and the day. It's the key in the database, and we basically only want the day. Like, yeah, we don't even, like, it's the date, and we want the day of that date. And we have to grab that no matter. Yeah, I think we should try to use this and then see what happens. Okay, so we have our days. So we need to flip this around now. How should we approach this? I guess we have to do some, like, we can choose to use a reducer here, but I think that's actually going to be quite confusing code because we have to use two reducers. And reducers are like, they do conceptually what we want, but arguably they are really hard to read. So let's try to just do this more straightforward by making it a little bit impure. So we are going to create our result here, which is, well, which is the current week items by profile. Let's call it week items by profile. And then how did we week items by profile? Oh yeah, let's week items by profile, export type week items by profile, so we can reuse this like this. And then we're going to object keys state.days. And the cool thing, like with this derived, whenever we update the days, this derived will flag itself as dirty. So this will auto recalculate whenever it's accessed. Okay, weak items by profile. So we're going through, days. And for each key in this days, so the key is actually the backlog item ID. And what we want to do is to say if no weak items by profile. Did we want we actually want this to be an array. How should we do this? Yeah, so weak Yes, sorry. We don't want this to look like this. Weak items by profile. We actually want it to be an array. Well, this is by okay, so this is weak items by profile, and then we have another thing called shit, what should we call this? This is a complex data structure because it's the weak items by profile, but we put them in an array representing each weekday. Weak items by profile. Wait a minute. This is wrong. This is backlog items by profile. Backlog items by profile. And then you have having a sneeze coming on. I think we should just call it backlog items by day. And that's an array of backlog items by profile. Oops. Well, it is specifically this actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's exactly what it is. By weekday. Backlog items by weekday. That's what it is. So we have backlog items by weekday. Do I have weekday lowercase d or uppercase? God damn it, I hate this. Okay, it's uppercase now. So it's backlog items by weekday. Oops. Backlog items by weekday. Items by weekday. We don't have to be so explicit there. And then we'll return that thing. And the thing is, we really want to populate all of these items. This is kind of the fun and a bit frustrating thing about this app. It looks super simple, but it has some really complex management of, like, you have this simple idea of a backlog item with a date, but we represent them. And I think this is at the core of why like what we're doing now, like in these days, because previously you would just have like a table of all the backlog items, and the user would have like a really bad user experience, like going through all of this and sorting them and trying to figure out everything. But now we build applications where we change the data structure. We kind of derive the data structure into very specific UI experiences, which is really good. It's like the accessibility of the app increases tenfolds but creating these data structures, it's quite complicated. But the results looked so incredibly simple for the user, which is exactly what you want, but that's kind of the frustrating bit, because sometimes it looks like, well, this looks simple, like from a user perspective, but then it becomes really difficult when you try to implement it. But anyways, we want to fill up all our days with an empty object. That's what we want. So that when we go through this array, we can just, well, we don't have to fill it, actually. Or do we want to fill it? The thing is, like, when we consume this, we will like use the current index here. Or do we want to use the weekday index? Yeah, maybe we should do that. We should use the weekday index. Yeah, we should do that. We flip it around. So we actually store this by the date. And then when we consume it here, we convert this weekday index into that date, like we do here. Like the weekday ID, we convert that into the weekday ID, and then we can just look it up. That's good. That's very good. Which means that it should... Yeah, that's good, because then we don't have to actually use an array here. We can actually use... Oh, maybe I've been overdoing this. No, then we just want to flip this around. That's the only thing we want to do. And then backlog items by profile. Okay, let's just flip it around. Item by, let's see, backlog item by day. Backlog items by day. That's exactly what we want. Sorry. And then we want to say days here, or day. Day ID is really the thing. And then this string becomes the backlog item ID. But we can actually return a backlog item here. Backlog item. We don't care about this. Which means that we take this thing, we flip it around, and we grab the actual backlog item. That's what we want to do. And then when we consume it here, we convert this weekday index into the actual day ID, and then we try to grab it. Do we have it here? And if we have it, what profiles do we have there? On that profile, what items do we have there? And then we render it out. That's going to be super nice. Cool. Backlog items by day. Backlog items by day. Backlog items by day. Backlog items by day. And this is going to... Okay, so we go through the days. We get the backlog item ID. And then we go through keys, state days backlog item ID for each, and that gives us the profile UID. And then we have an array here. So days equals profile UID. So now we have the days or day IDs. And we are going to use these day IDs to start populating this thing up here. So this is what I mean. Like, this is impure, but it reads so much better than if we were going to reduce all of this stuff. That's kind of what I feel about hooks as well in React. Like, they are pure, but if you compare hooks and classes in terms of mental load, arguably classes are way better because you have explicit lifecycle hooks, you just kind of do the thing, while with hooks you have to create this mental image that's not in the code, which are all the closures that you create with the different hooks, like the effects and stuff. Like you can have 3 different effects and they are all running with different views of what the variables are in that component, based on their dependencies. So it's kind of, maybe they look at 3 different states, and then one of those states change. So one of the effects suddenly moves into a new closure, looking at the world from that point in time when that specific state changed. And then some other state changes. And then you have another effect that suddenly moves to the front of time and looks at everything from that point in time. And then you have a third state changing, and then the third effect moves in front, and then you have the 2 other effects, which is looking at the component at a different point in time, which is just, it's insane to me. Anyways, okay, we have the day IDs. What we're doing, yeah, we have to check if we don't have any items by weekday. Oh, we have to go through each day ID as well. Let's see. Yeah, because we might do the same thing on multiple days as well. Yeah, so we shouldn't return the backlog. We should return a string here, a reference to the backlog item. Well, we don't have to do that. But I do like to work with references. Yeah, we'll do that. Especially when you do these transforms of data. I like intermediate data structures. I like to just use the references. And then at the end where you actually consume it, you can do like a lookup for the stuff you need. We'll try that first at least. So we have to actually go through these as well. Day ID. Now we have it. So if we don't have the day ID there, we need to create day ID. We need to create an object. And then we need to populate this with the profile UID. So basically, so this is where everything happens. If we don't have, because we're moving through different days here, so you might already have the profile ID, you might not have it, and so on. Profile UID, then we have to again profile UID, and this needs to be an array, right? Yes. And then yeah, and then we should be able to just push backlog item ID. So now we are reverting it, I believe. I think we are. Cool. Let's see if it works. So we need our newly... Oh, what happened here? Loading. Okay, so let's go and grab our newly found derived. And this, let's just go through it first. So we have state app backlog items by day. Well, I guess these are keys now. Object keys. And we'll map those to Backlog items by, oh, sorry. Here we need to create the key first. Day ID. Based on this weekday index, we have to get the day ID. So let's create that first. Wow, are we going? Oh shit, we've been streaming for 45 minutes. Okay, but this has been like a good mental exercise for me, so let's say that's okay. So we want to do something like one of these things. Get current weekday ID. Oh, yeah, this is what we want. This is the one we want. Nice, we already have it. Weekday index. I think. Is that what we want? Because this takes the weekday and it sets the weekday. Yeah, this is what we want. Nice. Okay, and then we check. Well, here we check. So do we have a day ID? If we don't have a day ID, which means we don't have any tasks for that day, we're not going to do anything about it. But if we do have it, no, sorry, of course we have it. What we want to check, if we have anything here, which means we can actually do it like this, this is what I typically do. I say object keys. I want to go through the items for this day. And if it's not there, I just use an empty object. Then I don't have to do that question mark thingy. Okay, so now we're going through the keys of this specific day, which is the profile UID. And then we basically have to I guess, what are we going to return here? We're going to return, like, we don't really want a wrapper around each profile. We just want to I wonder if we actually need this to be. Oh, this is still not a. This is a complicated data structure for a component to act upon. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is exactly what I want. Because now what I want to avoid is having this nested structure. Basically, yeah, I don't think I want this. What I want is an array which has the profile UID and then the backlog item ID. This is what I want. This is something the component can easily deal with. So it just, okay, on this day, give me the items. I need the profile UID and the backlog item ID. Yeah, this is the way it needs to look. So we have to change this. And then we don't have to check this. We can just push profile. Oh, this was a nice refactor. I wonder why this is complaining though. Oh. Oh, god damn it. As any. Sorry. Okay, cool. So what we have here is we have item, and what we're going to return here is just a div. Let's for now just give it the item profile UID and then item backlog item ID. Why are you saying string? Why are you saying string? Why are you saying string? Backlog items by day. Backlog items by day. You're happy. Why aren't you happy? Why does it... Oh, sorry. Sorry. It's my bad. We're doing... my bad. Oops. This is how I do it. So we might not have it, so we give it just an empty array if it's not there. Cool. And there we go. We have our data. It might seem weird that I spend so much time on this. Maybe it was obvious to you that it should have this data structure, but this is what I spend most time on. It's giving names to things and finding the right separation and consumption of data structures so that the components becomes as clean as possible. Like it's as if the app was built for the components, like the state was built for the component. Well, you have two different sides of it. You want to store the state, then you want to derive that state to something the components ideally want to consume, and then you consume that in the components. That's the way I think about it. So we actually already have an avatar thing, so maybe we can try this. Avatar. Does it? Yeah. What did it take? Did it take? It takes a color. Oh, it only takes a color. Color and name. Did we have utils for that? Get string to color. Get initials. Yeah. Name. Get initials. I guess state profiles. Oops. Item.profile UID. Okay, I think we only have the name there. Let's see. Profile name equals. Yeah, it might seem a little bit, it would be nice to just pass in the profile name and then it created the colors on its own. Maybe this is a bad separation, really. Get initials and then color, string to color, profile name. What are you complaining about? Oh, then I... Wasn't it string to color? Yeah, string to color. Oh. Bad syntax. That looked a little bit weird. Day item, let's call it day item. So const day item equals style div display flex, I guess, line item center, the classic centering. Come on. What the hell? Yeah, I think I'm going to write a proposal to do an experiment with the... And why do I only have one letter suddenly? That's interesting. Don't I have... Oh, I'm not running the DevTools. Node... No. npx overmind DevTools. By the way, I think we're ready to release next overmind now. I forgot I was supposed to go through some pull requests with you. I'm doing a podcast this evening, so I'm not sure if I have time to get it ready, but yeah. I thought it should be CA. That's weird. Because I do have, yeah, CA. Why is this so different? Edit current week. How do I pass the list backlog item? Oh. Avatar, color, string to color. Oh, I'm using the UID there. Oh, this was confusing. Here I actually am just passing the name. And then for the color, I'm using the UID. So are we inside Avatar? Are we using... Oh, we are using get initials. Okay, yeah. So which string to color? Yeah. Let's just do this. String to color. And we don't have to pass the color here. We just pass the name. And we don't even pass the name, I think. I think we're going to, yeah, we're going to change the game on this prop stuff. We're going to say children string here. And then children, and then we're going to use children. So we're just going to give name. And then we're just going to say avatar profile name, avatar. Just like that. And then we'll have to fix the backlog item as well, but let's see here first. And there we go. Cool. And then we'll fix this one. We don't need a color here. We just need to pass the name like that. And then no string to color there. Oh. Yeah, and I think we're going to do the same here. Well, here we... Oh, shit. Yeah, okay, let's keep the color here for now. That's a little bit... Yeah, this is a little bit confusing. That here we can just pass the name, but on the other one we have to pass the color explicitly. So we not always match these two, which is not ideal. I'm not sure how to separate that correctly though. Current week. Okay, just to get everything out here, app backlog. Yeah, and this is what I mean. Like now we have backlog, which is like a lookup. So whenever we have the ID, we can just look it up. And then, but we also have backlog list, which is for the UI. And I find this to be the most efficient way to deal with things. You optimize your data for lookups and you optimize it for rendering. But optimizing for rendering is basically deriving the state for lookup. All right. Okay, I guess this is okay for now. And what should happen now is that if I were to... Oh, can't I remove stuff? Ah, that's interesting. Yeah, and now it's there. This is pretty cool. Wow, that's weird. Anyways, we got it working. It took an hour, but yeah. It's not about being fast, it's about writing thoughtful code. So yeah, I guess what we can do tomorrow is to, well, we have to be able to remove an item. I'm not sure, I don't think we ever implemented that. But let's fix that. And then let's just fix the styling of this thing. And then I think we're actually pretty much ready with the app itself. It does what it's supposed to do. And then we need to implement the family sync, which is going to be fun. Like I have the code for it, so we can use that as a reference. And it's actually, I had like a native app previously, but the family sync was web-based. So yeah, we can pretty much reuse all of it, I think. But now it's going to be integrated in this UI instead. So we actually have to figure out where to put it. Probably just a new page. But yeah, this is awesome. We're really getting somewhere now. Yeah, and then there's a complexity of if you have like a very long list here, you have to be able to scroll it and stuff. That's going to be super fun. Super fun. Okay, cool. Again, we went way past time, 1 hour this time. Anyways, thanks for following along, and then I hope to see you tomorrow, because then we kind of, yeah, maybe I should buy myself a beer or something to celebrate that we are like complete on features. We'll see. Okay, bye for now.